All right, guys, here's part 2, so make sure you watch part 1. Go ahead and pause the video, give this one a try. Describe the end behavior, determine whether it represents an odd degree or an even degree function. Also tell whether the leading coefficient is positive or negative as well. And then state the number of real zeros. Remember, that's just x-intercepts. Okay, so pause the video, give that a try, and then check your answers. All right, so here are your answers for the end behavior, part A. Right here, this is your sentence. You just have to fill out the last two. These two sentences will always be the same in the first part, just got to fill in the last two. So as x goes to negative infinity, so on the left, that arrow is going up, going to positive infinity. Positive infinity side, that arrow is going down, so it's negative infinity. Since they're opposite, the polynomial is an odd degree. Since the right side is going down, the leading coefficient is negative. And there are 5 real zeros. If you count them, count the x-intercepts, there's 5 of them. Number 2, on the left side, the arrow is going down, so negative infinity. On the right side, it's also going down towards negative infinity. So since they're both going the same direction, the polynomial is an even degree, and since the right side is going down, it's a negative leading coefficient. And looking at the zeros, there's 2 of them. Okay. All right. Locate zeros of a function. So if you were to locate the zeros of a function and you're given a table, all you have to do is check for where the y values change sign. So right here, it went from negative 29 to negative 7 to positive 1. Since it changed sign right here, there is a 0 between negative 1 and 0. Then we went from positive 1 again to positive 1, then down to negative 1. So again, right here, it changed sign from positive to negative. So there is another 0 here in between where x is 1 and 2. And then it went from a negative 1 to a positive 1. So again, right next to it was another 0. So there's another 0 in between when x is 2 and x is 3. So just looking at the tables, check where y values change sign, and that gives you zeros, but you're looking at your x's for those zeros. Maximum and minimum points. So right here in this graph, you see that there is a top of a hill and the bottom of a hill. Every top and bottom of a hill is called a turning point, and they're also referred to as extrema. So the top of a hill is going to be a relative maximum. The bottom of a hill is going to be a relative minimum. And point A right here is a relative maximum, since there's no other point nearby it that has a greater y value. Point B is going to be a relative minimum, since there's no y value that is less around it. It's not an exact an absolute maximum or an absolute minimum, but it is relative to the points that are very close to it. It's always going to be the top of a hill or the bottom of a hill. So those are called turning points or extrema. The number of turning points is at most the degree of the polynomial minus 1. So let's say the degree is 4. So if the degree is 4, the number of turning points that the polynomial could have is at most 4 minus 1, so 3. It's going to be at most turning points. At most, it's going to have 3 turning points. The minimum degree is the number of turning points plus 1. So let's say you had turning points. Let's say you had 5 turning points. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, 4. So 4 turning points. That means that this it has to be at least a degree of 5. So it could be a 5th degree polynomial, or it could be a 7th, or a 9th, or an 11th, 13th. It has to be at least a 5th degree polynomial, but it could be more. It also has to be odd since the ends are opposite directions. It can't be even for sure. It has to be odd. So it's an odd degree, and it has to be at least 5, 5, 7, 9, 13, 21, whichever. Okay. Multiplicity of roots. So if I zoom in on this graph here, kind of get a close look at those x-intercepts. So multiplicity happens at your x-intercepts. There are 3 of them here. So this one, and this one. You could have more, you could have less. But this right here is x equals -1. This one here is x equals +1. And here is x equals 2. Okay. If the polynomial goes through the x-axis, that means it has an odd multiplicity. And the only multiplicities are 1, 2, or 3. If it doesn't cross and it just bounces back, then it's an even degree, and the only even one is 2. So looking at this one, it definitely crosses all the way through. It goes through the 1. And you see how it snakes cross? So it kind of slithers like a cubic function. If you look at this, it looks like a cubic function right here. So this means that it has a multiplicity of 3. Whereas this one, it goes straight through right here. It doesn't curve like this one. So this one curves through. This one does not curve through. It just goes straight through. That one is just a multiplicity of 1. And then at x equals 1, it doesn't go through at all. It touches x equals 1 and then it comes back down. So when it just touches it and comes back down, that's a multiplicity of 2. Okay? So we have x equals -1 with a multiplicity of 3. X equals +1 with a multiplicity of 2. And x equals 2 with a multiplicity of 1. Okay? So this means that if you were to write this polynomial function, x equals -1 means the root would be x plus 1. But since it has a multiplicity of 3, that means there's 3 of these. And you could just write it as x plus 1 cubed. If x is equal to 1, then the factor is x minus 1. And it has a multiplicity of 2, so there's 2 of these. And yes, that means that it's just x minus 1 squared. And x equals 2 means x minus 2. Since it has a multiplicity of 1, it's just x minus 2. So altogether, this would be x plus 1 cubed times x minus 1 squared times x minus 2. And if you FOILed this all out, that would give you the polynomial function, but you also have to look at the end behavior. So if the right side's going up, then your leading coefficient is positive and you leave it as positive. Let's actually go ahead and write this polynomial in standard form. So we already found the polynomial in intercept form, all of these. So I'm going to rewrite that here on the next slide. So we wrote our polynomial in the intercept form. So x plus 1 cubed times x plus 1 squared times x minus 2. And we need to multiply this all out in order to find the function in standard form. So standard form means, like x squared plus 5x plus 3. So we're just going to multiply this out. Now, do not distribute. You can't do that. Again, that favorite mistake that's on my bulletin board. You can't do that. You need to do the x minus 1 times x minus 1 times x minus 1. So x plus 1 times x plus 1, that would be x squared plus 2x plus 1. And then I need to multiply it times another x plus 1 again. You could do the box method. And do x squared plus 2x plus 1 times x plus 1. Fill it out. This is x cubed. This is 2x squared. This is x. And then x squared, 2x, and 1. And then combine like terms. So then we would have x cubed plus 3x squared plus 3x and plus 1. So that takes care of x plus 1 cubed. Now I'm going to do x minus 1 squared. And I'm going to pause that so this video isn't so long. Minus 1 squared gives us this. And then I'm also going to go ahead and multiply that times x minus 2 using my box. I'm going to pause it again. Here's what we get when we multiply these two together. Now, I do still need to multiply these two together. So I'm going to do a 4 by 4 box now. A 4 by 4 box so that I can multiply these both together. And the order that you multiply them in does not matter as long as you multiply all of them. So I'm going to multiply x cubed plus 3x squared plus 3x plus 1 and x cubed minus 4x squared plus 5x minus 2. So I'm going to pause the video, do that, and then simplify. Here's what the finished box looks like. Now you just combine like terms. So x to the 6th is the only x to the 6th. Then 3x to the 5th and negative 4x to the 5th will get negative x to the 5th. Combining these three will get us negative 4x to the 4th. Then these, that'll be positive 2x cubed. These will be positive 5x squared. Here will be negative x and then minus 2. All right, and then looking at the end behavior as well, if the right side's going up, then the leading coefficient should be positive. So this is the equation written in standard form. I know that's a lot of work, and that's only because I gave you all three, because I was trying to give you multiplicity of 3, 2, and 1. I'm not going to give you something like this intense on a checkpoint or an assessment. So don't worry about that. It's not going to be this crazy, okay? All right, but go ahead and give this one a try. Last of the notes, pause it here. Give this one a try. Describe the end behavior. Determine whether it represents an odd degree, an even degree, the number of real zeros. What are the zeros? Are there any multiplicities? And then how many maximums and minimums are there? All right, so here are your final answers. One side is going towards positive infinity. That's the left side, and the right side is going towards negative infinity. That means since they're opposite, it's an odd degree. You do see two real zeros here, one at negative 4, one at negative 2. The negative 4 has a multiplicity of 1 because it just goes straight through. The negative 2 has a multiplicity of 2 since it bounces off and it does not cross. And there's one relative minimum right here and one relative maximum right here. And these are both relative. Okay, so now you can go ahead and finish this assignment here. It's posted in Google Classroom. There's also the sheet in my classroom on the long table by the calculator. So grab that and work on that, and we'll finish that tomorrow. Take the checkpoint next week. Have a great day. Bye.